Hello, dear children. I welcome you to today's radio learning program. This is Teacher Mary. I'm going to teach you social studies specifically for P5. So children, do you have your notebooks and pens so that you write down the activities I'll be giving you? And please, our parents, I encourage you to support our children, check if they will be doing the work that we give them correctly. I hope, children, you're ready for today's lesson. So children, could you be remembering what we learned in the last lesson? Do you remember what we learned in the last lesson? So this is what we learned about. We learned about sanitation and the activities that we can do to maintain good sanitation. We also learned about hygiene and personal hygiene, and how to maintain good personal hygiene, and also the importance of good personal hygiene. That is what we learned about in the last lesson.
Come along and play with us.
So today, we are going to learn about civics and governance. We are going to learn about civics and governance. So if you have a P5 SST textbook, you could open on page 41. You could check on page 41. So we said today we are going to learn about civics and governance. So what is civic education? What do you understand by civic education? So civic education is the study of good citizenship and proper membership in a community. It is the study of good citizenship and proper membership in a community. So, why should we study civics? What is the importance of civic education? What is the importance of civic education? So, civic education helps citizens to elect wisely. Remember, we said civic education is the study of good citizenship. So you being a good citizen, you will always be asked to elect your leaders wisely. So it will teach us how to elect our leaders wisely. Civic education helps citizens to bring the spirit of patriotism and love for the motherland. It will always promote the spirit of patriotism and love for our country, Rwanda. It also makes citizens to live in peace and harmony. Civic education makes people to live in peace and harmony because they will always learn about being a good citizen. And being a good citizen, you need to maintain peace and harmony in the community you're living in. So civic education will also help you get to know the rights and responsibilities of a citizen. You will get to know what you need to do and the responsibilities you have as a citizen in a community. So now, children, let's now look at the acceptable behavior in our province. What are the acceptable behavior in our province? You know, in the community we live in, people have different behavior. Some behavior is bad and another behavior is good. So the behavior which is good is acceptable. It is acceptable in the community. But the behavior which is bad is unacceptable in the community. So what is the acceptable behavior in the community? What can we call is the acceptable behavior in the community? Acceptable behavior is behavior which brings peace, respect, unity, cooperation among people. Acceptable behavior is that behavior which brings peace, respect, unity, and cooperation among people. So good behavior is supposed to be practiced by both children, adults within the society. So good behavior is not for only children and it's not for only adults. It is for everyone. It is to be done by children and adults who are living in a society. So acceptable behavior could include respecting others. You need to respect others, elders, and even people of your same age. Also clean the environment. We need to keep cleaning our environment so as to live in a very good place and which is safe for our health. We need to say thank you or appreciate whenever something good is done for you. Always appreciate and always say thank you whenever something good is done for you. Always ask for forgiveness. Whenever someone does wrong to you, be polite and ask for forgiveness. And in that way, you're showing a good behavior. Helping parents is also a good behavior. It is acceptable. We need to help our parents at home in different kinds of activities. So that is also a good behavior. We need to also keep greeting people, listening to teachers, and also parents and elders. We also need to be polite and be orderly and smart often. And in that way, we are portraying an acceptable behavior in the community. So we are looking at the acceptable behavior in the community. And we also talked about unacceptable behavior, which could be bad behavior. So what is the unacceptable behavior in the community? What can we call is unacceptable behavior in the community? So there are some forms of behavior which are unacceptable in the society. And the unacceptable behavior can lead to conflict, tension, and fights. And let me mention some of the behavior which is unacceptable. Drinking alcohol, smoking, abusing others, fighting others, stealing, throwing litter on the ground, and disturbing other people in your community. So you see, unacceptable behavior, it is always the bad behavior because it will always have a bad impact on others. And even you will not be able to live peacefully because of the unacceptable behavior.
Come along and play with us.
Remember, we were looking at civic education and its importance. And we also looked at the acceptable behavior and unacceptable behavior. So let's look at peer pressure. What do you understand by the word peer pressure? Peer pressure is what makes a person start doing what is good or bad in order to fit within a group. Peer pressure is what makes a person start doing what is good or bad in order to fit within a group. So peers are people of the same age. Or is peers are people of the same age. So what is the influence of peer pressure? What is the influence of peer pressure? So a person's behavior can be changed for good or bad. So if you join a peer group, you will end up having a good behavior or bad behavior because of the peer pressure. So peer pressure always has positive and negative consequences. Whenever you join a group, because you want to fit in that group, you will end up having positive consequences or negative consequences. So these are the positive consequences you may get in a peer group. You may end up making right decisions. If you join a good group, they will always encourage you to make right decisions. And you might be good at making decisions because of the peer group. Also, it will shape your personality. You will end up shaping your personality in a positive way because of the peer pressure or the peer group that you have joined in. If you join a good group, it will also help you develop a constructive attitude towards life. If there are people who have good ideas, who love being constructive, they will also influence you to be constructive in every activity that you do. So you can also end up improving on your academic performance because of the peer group. If you have a good group, it will help you to improve your performance. If they are able to help you, share with you how to perform, how to do the questions, how to do activities in class, or questions that are given to you, in that way, you will be able to improve on your academics because of that particular group that you have joined. And lastly, the peer groups can also help you develop your communication skills. You know, in being in a good group, you'll always be able to communicate, you'll always be able to share ideas, be able to tell stories, be able to share your experiences. And whenever you're in that group, you're able to develop your communication skills. So, that is the positive impact of peer pressure. But also, if you join a bad group, it will influence you negatively. You may end up having bad behavior because of the wrong group that you have joined in. We can easily fall into the bad peer group, which may lead you to having negative consequences on your life. So bad groups may end up making you adopt bad behavior. You can end up taking wrong decisions in life if it is not a good group. You may become selfish or have an attitude towards others which is not good, and you may end up performing poorly in academics if that particular group does not concentrate on academics and does not perform well. So children, we always need to be careful on the groups we choose. We need to be careful the groups we are in, because you may end up going in a bad group which will cause you to have all the negative consequences. You may end up performing poorly in class, you may end up making wrong decisions in life, or you can easily adopt bad behavior, which will make you fail to achieve so many things in life. So how can you avoid the bad peer groups? Always say no to the bad behavior. Whenever a group comes to you and it wants to influence you in a bad behavior, always say no. Be quick to say no. Join good clubs like the sports club, music club. All those clubs can help you develop your talents, help you to be active and participate in very constructive activities. And always listen to advice from others. Whenever elders or parents encourage you to leave bad groups, be willing to leave those bad groups. And always avoid the bad groups.
Come along and play with us.
Welcome back, children. So now we are going to learn more about our country, Rwanda. We are going to learn about our country, Rwanda, as an independent nation. We all know that Rwanda is an independent nation. So this leads me to this question. What is a nation? What do you understand by a nation? A nation is a group of people with strong bonds of identity living together within the same geographical and political boundaries under one government. A nation is a group of people with strong bonds of identity living together within the same geographical and political boundaries under one government. So our nation, like Rwanda, it has a group of people, Banyarwanda. We are Banyarwanda, we have the same strong identity. And then we live in the same geographical area, boundaries, the east, the west, the north, and the south. That is the boundaries of Rwanda. And it is under one government. So the whole of Rwanda is a nation. We can call it a nation because it has particular people who are Banyarwanda. They are living under one geographical boundaries. That is from the east, the west, south of Rwanda, and it is under one government. So an independent country, we can say that it is a country free from colonial rule or any external influence. Rwanda is an independent country, so it is free from colonial rule or any external influence. Rwanda is not influenced by any other country outside. It is just independent. It makes its own decision, or it takes its own steps to development. So our country, Rwanda, is independent. So children, we are going to learn about the symbols of our nation. You should have in mind that each nation has its own symbols which identify it. Every nation is identified by certain symbols. So what are some of the symbols that we can find in each nation? Let us look particularly in our country, Rwanda. What are some of the symbols we find in Rwanda? So, these are the symbols that we find in different nations and also in Rwanda. We have the national anthem. That is 1. Number 2, the national flag. Number 3, the national coat of arms. Number 4, the national constitution. Number 5, the national motto. Number 6, the national currency. So those are some of the symbols that are in our nation, Rwanda. The national anthem, the national flag, the national coat of arms, the national constitution, the national motto, and the national currency. So we are going to look at all these in details. But for today, we are going to look at the national anthem in particular. So what is the national anthem? Children, what do you understand by the national anthem? So, the national anthem is a song which is sung to show respect and pride for the nation. It is a song which is sung to show respect and pride for the nation. It is sung in praise of the nation. So the new national anthem of Rwanda was composed by Faustin Murigo. It was composed by Faustin Murigo. And the music was set by Captain Jean Bosco Hashakimana. And so the national anthem has 4 stanzas, or parts. We can call them parts. So children, do you know the parts or the 4 stanzas of the national anthem? Have you memorized all the 4 stanzas of the national anthem? If you have not memorized them, you need to memorize them because it is very important for you to have them in your mind and be able to sing it confidently without reading anywhere. So you need to master the national anthem and learn all the 4 stanzas, and in practicing them, you will be showing patriotism, and that is the love of the country. You will be showing your love that you have for the country, for our country. So children, we have come to the end of our lesson. So let me summarize all the things that we have learned today. We learned about civic education and its importance. And we also learned about the acceptable and unacceptable behavior in the community. And we also learned about the symbols of the nation, like the national anthem. So for your homework, you're going to write all the 4 stanzas of the national anthem. And also find out about the national flag, the colors on the national flag and their meaning, and what the colors on the national flag mean. So thank you so much for paying attention. And our dear parents, I thank you so much for supporting our children while they are learning through this program. So I hope you'll join me in the next lesson. Bye-bye.